has given me the chance to reflect on everything that brought me here, and all that has transpired since. My hopes and dreams, my successes and failures, my delights and my disappointments. And thinking back, I realized that much of my life and the person that I had become grew out of certain experiences I had as a child. I have crystal clear memories of my grandfather from when I was a little girl. He was the man who taught me to scuba dive. He took me to get hot chocolate after school, who raced me to the corner, and who would always whistle while we walked down the street. I knew, in the childlike way of sensing but not fully understanding the world of adults, that he was special. The clues were in how others spoke of him, the fact that he had films on television and made speeches to heads of state. He was an inventor, conservationist, innovator, author, and explorer. He gave the world, through the medium of television, its first real look beneath the ocean's surface, and inspired a generation to appreciate the natural beauty and abundance of life he discovered there. His influence on me has been profound, both in terms of how I saw myself and how others saw me. I was Jacques Cousteau's granddaughter. At dinners, events, in the press, the subtitle would be Ocean Royalty, or sometimes Mermaid, one that I stopped caring for past the age of 8 or 9. I grew up seeing my life play out in the context of continuing my grandfather's legacy, continuing his work, furthering his ideas, settling his unfinished business. But it was here at Georgetown that I started to find my own voice, that I found my own passions, interests, and causes, that my own path started to appear. And I realize now that legacy is something you inherit, yes, but it need not be something you passively receive and accept. It is something you must shape until it fits you. If you've ever been introduced as someone's brother or sister, as someone's daughter or son, and if you've ever felt the weight of that legacy press on the expectations of the people you were meeting, change the grip of their handshake or the timbre of their voices, then you know something of what I'm talking about. We all begin our lives in the shadows of those who came before us, their histories, their policies, their mistakes, and their most noble actions alike. It can be a lot to live up to or live down, to get away from or to honor, depending upon where you stand in relation to all that history. As with all legacies, I think the tendency is to allow them to define you, either by accepting them or by actively opposing them. But this, to my mind, is a false binary in a world too full of false binaries. Always remember that you get to choose. You have the option of borrowing only what resonates most deeply with you and constructing a life around that resonance. In doing so, you leave behind questions of legacy and begin to forge something unique to your being, in your time and place, in your world. You began this process here at Georgetown. You took on a wealth of ideas, sifted them through your individual selves, and saw what remained to hold your interests and ignite your passions. And it is my hope that you will never lose touch with that process, because to hold on to it is a way to cultivate a way of living deliberately, a way of carrying the spirit of the explorer into the varieties of day-to-day existence. To be an explorer in our current era means something quite different from what it meant in my grandfather's time. We have a radically new relationship with information and the technology that provides it. We carry in our pockets access to the vast accumulation of human knowledge. We walk around with screens capable of streaming to us live, first-hand views of the lives of others. And we, in turn, have the ability to broadcast our own voices and experiences all over the world. Given this great wealth of access, discovering something never before seen is a good deal more difficult. But discovering new ways to look at what we already know is an exploratory attitude anyone can practice. You carry in your pocket the ability to call attention to the issues you care most about and to engage with others in the search for answers. With fresh eyes come fresh solutions and the revelations of hidden wonders. You can all be explorers. You can make the choice to always approach the world with a childlike wonder and reverence. So remember back to when you were young and the subtle machinations of this world were nothing short of a revelation. Remember the first time you watched ants in a steady march to and from a dropped popsicle stick, before insects became a gross annoyance, something to be kept out of your living space and certainly never to be allowed to crawl on you. Think back to a time when it would never even have occurred to you to crush one of them, a time when there was only a fascination with these tiny beings and their strange mission. In my case, it was tadpoles. I marveled over how their voracious appetite for pondweed could fuel a most miraculous transformation, from this little, wiggly fish-like creature, now growing legs, now shedding tail, evolving before my very eyes into a more formidable creature with a different role to play. I loved listening to them argue around the pond at night, the chirps, squeaks, croaks, and calls filling the air in concert. They gave me a deep sense of connection to nature. They were wild, yet accessible, to a child, to me. And still today, for me, they are pure magic. And these wonders are everywhere, if only we remember to look. Walk to a riverbank and stare for a moment at the swirl of stream water in an eddy. Allow that vortex to pull at your attention, and you might see in the logarithmic spiral of a snail shell, the orbital decay of a binary star system, or the sprawling spiral of the arms of the galaxy. To gaze with this kind of wonder brings an indescribable comfort, a sense that all that ever was, is, or will be is actually part of one grand thing. You, all of you, are part of one grand thing. To remain aware of this, to see through those eyes, is a way to gird yourself against the disillusionment, detachment, and apathy that does so much harm to the human spirit. If you can retain the ability to look at the world with that sense of wonder, you will come to know it in deeper and more profound ways than you might have thought possible. The more you know of the world, the more of it you will love, the more you will protect. And this world badly needs our protection right now. My own sense of wonder for this planet and all her various little miracles is matched only by my increasing sense of panic for what we're losing. As a mother to two small humans, I am deeply concerned for the world they will inherit. The places that I have loved, be they oceanic or pastoral, are disappearing. And I fear that in a time when technological advance has made the citizens of the world more socially connected than ever before, we have become distracted from that connectedness we share with every other micro and macro organism on this planet. For human beings and the planet we share, the situation is dire. And this brings me to a difficult point for any commencement address. How to express the extraordinary need for reform without prophesizing gloom and doom on a day when you should be celebrating your accomplishments here at Georgetown. Is it bad? Yes. Is it as bad as the scientists say? I'm afraid it is. A part of your legacy is this uncertain future. Nothing short of a total shift away from our carbon-based economies can address the planetary emergency we all face. And so yours is the generation that will impose a radical reconsideration of how we live in this world, how we consume resources, how we restore natural capital, how we protect the future from the excesses of the past. You will be the brave architects of this new world. Every generation of graduates must face down the future that it's inheriting. Every generation must make choices that are simultaneously philosophical and personal. What to keep, what to throw away, what to honor, and what to reform. I don't envy you that responsibility, but I do very much believe in your ability to meet and exceed it. Is it hopeless? No. No, it is not. The only legacy thrust upon you is the legacy you choose to accept. The history of explorers worldwide is made up of women and men who were told, no one has done that, and who responded, then I will do that. People who were told, that cannot be done. And their response was, well, let's just see about that. We live in a time of unparalleled social change. Across the country, communities are reimagining their relationship to past policy, history, and legacy. Georgetown's own community has spent the year re-examining its relationship to the institution's history. Your voices have brought the debate about how to reconcile past injustices with current policy into the limelight and begun an important conversation about how we engage with our past, what we honor, what we reject, and most importantly, how we move forward. We need not accept the narratives we are often handed by history or institutions of power. Politicians would seek to divide environmental issues into conservative and liberal platforms in the hopes of political gain, but we need not be trapped by that type of ideological pigeonholing. How we treat the planet is not an issue for Republicans and Democrats to argue about. It is an issue for all of us to agree upon as Earthlings. So it is my hope for you all that you might take some time before you begin your professional lives to examine the familial, historical, political, and ideological legacy you have inherited. Comb through it and find the ideas and causes and principles that most speak to you. Take the aspects of these causes that stir something in you and weave their advocacy into your daily lives. Live deliberately. Make the choices that support what you most believe, however small, with an awareness that every small thing you do ripples outward into this one grand thing of which we are all a part. So now, boys, go forth, live with purpose, make your own ripples, and craft your own legacies. Thank you.